My name is Cress Clippard. I served in the Marine Corps as an infantry officer from 2012 through 2016.
I served with the Army in Iraq. I was in the reserves and I conducted intelligence work.
I had the privilege of serving in the Marines from 2001 to 2006. Served in Iraq and other theaters.
Look, I did 4 tours in Iraq, and over those 4 tours, I had many interpreters that I worked with closely.
We're here to talk about no one left behind in Afghanistan. We're here to talk about those who pledged their loyalty to the United States of America. And we made a promise to them, and that is that when the military draws out by the end of July, we will not leave them behind to be slaughtered by the Taliban.
I deployed to Afghanistan in 2014. Today, I'm working in Houston, Texas, in commercial construction. But in my spare time, I volunteer to lead a group that helps our former allies from Afghanistan and Iraq. There was an interpreter who had served for more than 10 years alongside U.S. forces in Afghanistan. He had been with all sorts of combat units and working for the Afghan government and the United States government, and had done a lot of great things for our country and theirs. He had been erroneously denied his visa. In January, the Taliban stopped him in his car as he was driving with his young son and killed him because of his service alongside us. We had to get that family out of there. We were able to get them here to Houston, Texas through a program called Humanitarian Parole. It's more of a Band-Aid solution.
Our local national interpreters were essential for a lot of the work we were doing. That's why you see this strong push among military veterans on both sides of the aisle in Congress, post 9/11 veterans and Vietnam veterans, who understand the duty we have to look after those who served alongside of us, who signed up, and to uphold our promises to them.
What people have to understand about these Afghan interpreters, drivers, and other assistants to our troops on the ground there is that they risk their lives not just for Afghanistan, but for America. They're not just Afghan heroes, they're American heroes.
After coming back to the United States, co-founded With Honor Action with other veterans in order to help reduce the polarization in Congress by helping support and elect veterans from both parties who take a pledge to serve with integrity, civility, and courage. And they have made this issue of protecting our Afghan allies a top legislative priority.
We made a promise as guys on the ground like me, when we asked them to work for us, that we would have their backs. So now it's time to uphold that promise, to tell them that we will have your backs, and to show the rest of the world that America is good for its word.
And there's one man in the whole world who can make it happen, and he's right there in that building. And it's our job today to make sure that he hears us. Because every day that we wait to do this is a gift to the Taliban. They are systematically hunting down our Afghan wartime allies and murdering them and their families. They are putting their murders on TV for the entire world to see. And you and I are not the intended audience. The intended audience are people who we might one day ask to be our friends. They're trying to convince these people that American friendship is a death sentence.
There have been some who have taken issue with the fact that there'll probably be a cost associated with this. I think to relocate and save a family of an interpreter and the interpreter himself, to relocate and save them probably costs less than a Hellfire missile, because we can go cynical and we can put a price on human life and in our allies' lives. But it's the fact that if we break those promises, if we betray those and abandon those who served alongside us, people are going to remember that.
Look, the Taliban has made it clear that they will try to kill these American friends and allies if they can get to them. So it's important that we evacuate them. We don't just wait for the regular visa process to take its course.
We're going to be looked at as a country that doesn't keep our promises, that will cut and run, that will turn our backs on our allies, that will, well, frankly, a country that can't be trusted. And I think that is going to be incredibly detrimental to our national security in the long term. So even if you want to set aside the moral, humanitarian, the sense of honor and doing right, even if you want to set that aside, there are pragmatic national security reasons for us to be keeping our promises here.
When the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff came before the committee, before the House Armed Services Committee last week, and he talked about the moral imperative that we have to protect these allies of ours, I think there's also a moral imperative to future generations of American servicemen and women that we show them that they will be able to make this promise on the ground in some other country someday, and people won't look back to Afghanistan and say we broke the promise. That's especially important right now because we just abandoned our Kurdish allies in Syria. So a lot of people are questioning America's word right now in the foreign policy world, and we've got to show them, no, that was a mistake. When we make a promise, we'll uphold it.
Frankly, a lot of folks just want this issue to go away, right? It's a lot easier to forget it than to focus on it. It's easier to move past than to confront the obligations and the promises that we've made. But then you look at the fact that President Biden got rid of the Remain in Mexico policy because apparently for economic migrants that was inhumane, but he's insisting on a Remain in Afghanistan policy for the interpreters who we already know, we've already vetted, we already have all of their paperwork, we know who these people are.
I'm asking the administration for three things right now. One, adopt our plan or come up with a better one, but show us a detailed plan. Second, we need a commander. We need someone who is in charge of this, who is accountable for getting it done. And third, we need a promise. We need a promise that this mission will be fulfilled no matter how long it takes. I don't want to hear 2 months from now that, we've run out of time, we've run out of troop presence, and we still have Afghans on the ground. No, we cannot leave anyone behind.